Hello, hello, hello. I am Spiritual Life Coach Latricia Booker here with Kingdom Business, where we get healed, delivered, and we get free. We know who we are. We elevate our minds and our spirits and raise and expand our consciousness to ultimately walk in our true divine purpose. That is the truth of who God created us to be. So you all, first, I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for viewing my videos. I pray that they are a blessing to you. Thank you for the likes, subscribes, shares, and for all of your generous financial contributions to my channel. I really appreciate it all. And so just before we jump in, I want to just let you know if you're interested in any of the services I presently offer, you can find all that information right down below in the description box. And so you all, in my previous video that I did before this one, it was called It Will Not Work. So it did cut off towards the end, and I'm gonna just jump in and finish up from that video. Yet this one will be titled It Still Won't Work. Or even that won't work. It still wouldn't work. It still won't work. Yeah. It still won't work. Something like that. Okay? Anyway, here we go. So, previously I was speaking of how when people try to take your ideas and duplicate them or beat you to them or compete you basically pretty much at being who you are. And how scripture tells us in 1 Thessalonians 4:11 to mind your own business. Stay in your lane, mind your business, work with your own hands. Stop looking all over somebody else's garden, seeing what they got going on. Work on your own garden. Anyway, so I was speaking about how what they do won't work because they could never be you. They can never produce what God is producing from you. They would never be able to get the same results that you would get because God is in what you're doing. God is behind it. So if their ill intentions is to do something that God is not in, to outdo you or to beat you to the punch or whatever, it won't work. So I'm going here now. It still won't work. And what do I mean by that? I'm reminded of Joseph and how he told his dream. He told his dream to his brothers. Now, I would say there's something to be learned from that, Joseph telling his dream. And that was that had he not told his dream, he probably wouldn't experience what he experienced. We know what he went through. His brothers didn't try to. They sold him. First, they tried to throw him in a pit, the well, something like that. Then they did sell him to slavery. He ended up in prison and on, but we know the end of his story. He ended up being over all of Pharaoh's everything. And because God was with him. So, and then his brothers that initially, that he told his dream to, that tried to stop the dream, he ended up having to save their very lives. They ended up having to come to him unknowingly to actually be saved from a famine, from starvation. So I'm saying all that to say, the thing we can learn from that is to be careful about what we share. Sometimes when you share your things, your dreams, your ideas with the wrong people, depending on how corrupt they are and how far they'll go to destroy you or stop your dreams, so to speak, it can go bad. However, there's also something else to be learned from Joseph's experience. All of what happened, even though he made the mistake of telling it to his brothers, I want to say the wrong people. It was his brothers, but he probably shouldn't have told them. But he did. Let's learn a lesson here. Even though he told it, they did all of what they did, it still didn't stop it. So even when you tell your stuff, it may delay it, or or should I say, and or it may just cause you to have to go through a lot of stuff that you could have maybe avoided had you not shared it. In my own personal experience, I've experienced sharing things too soon, unknowingly, but I learned. Trial and error, I learned. But what it did was those things that I shared, it just made me have to stand back away from them. And they were delayed because now I have to not do it right now because whoever I shared it with was focused on it. And in some instances, they tried to go and do it, and I had to just let them go because it wasn't time for me to. God switched the timeline, so to speak, and then maybe would have shifted how I would do it when the time came. But I learned from that to be quiet because sometimes, again, not only will people try to destroy your stuff, but they just in it. And you don't want other people's energy in something that they don't have anything to do with. You don't want other people to be focused in that kind of a way, because in some kind of way, it's an interruption of it. Not that it won't happen, but again, it can be delayed. Or you just end up experiencing some things that you could have avoided, some unnecessary trouble, so to speak. Yet, listen, it won't, his word, that promise, will still do what he set out for it to do. It won't come back void as long as you stay the course. As long as you continue to walk with him, trust it, trust him, have faith, be quiet, learn to be quiet, not talk to those. I've learned to just not share my stuff with anybody for the most part. Now, I can speak on certain little stuff with a very few people. I probably shouldn't even say few. But it's very minimum what I say. I don't give no detail. And I don't even be trying to do that. It's just in conversation things happen. But I know it's just like in me now. I just am programmed to not say too much. Because in me, there's a gauge that won't allow me to. Because this is personal. Anyway, by the time someone know your idea, your dream, or whatever, it'll be already happening. Now, I'm going to say this part. I'm going to bring it back around. Sometimes people know, whether it's because you shared some things or they just know that you're purpose for something. God is doing something in you. Many people know you are the chosen ones, whether they like it or not. The thing is that they're watching you anyway. Remember those monitoring spirits? They're monitoring you anyway. So I'm saying that to say they're already trying to see what's going to happen, trying to see what God is doing with you. You don't want to add, I want to say, fuel to their fire. Give them anything to toy with, so to speak, if you can avoid it. Now, if just in natural, you being natural doing you, they take something and try to toy with it, you don't concern yourself about that. Because trust and believe, that backfires on them. As long as you learn to be quiet, unless you're speaking on something that God is moving you to speak on. Again, if they toy with that, that's on them. But those are the only exceptions. Otherwise, the best thing you can do for yourself is to keep it to yourself. Because the truth of the matter is, it ain't got nothing to do with them anyway. And where it does, again, it ain't got nothing to do with them anyway. This is between you and God and what God is moving you to do. The only people you should be sharing your dreams and all your ideas or whatever with is people that's what they do, and they can accommodate you in that and help you. This is their expertise. This is their business. You're hiring them. You're consulting with them because this is what they do. Again, their expertise. Or even if you're sharing this with a mentor or a confidant or something like that, your go-to. But again, be careful with that. Make sure your go-to, because sometimes it's good to be able to bounce off ideas or certain things off of somebody. I've learned to not do it. I've just been at a place where I don't need that. But like I said, just in sharing, just talking, just having conversation, I've learned I can't do that. So, and it is private. It is personal. You know what I'm saying? It's the other thing of people feel like you keeping secrets. Yeah. is private. If you want to call it a secret, whatever. It's private. It's personal. This is personal between me and God, and you don't have to expose and tell everything that God is doing and God is doing with you. Again, unless he moves you to share certain things. But you don't owe anybody an explanation. And again, be careful about who you share your dreams and your ideas with, because you can avoid a lot of stuff. You're going to have some stuff anyway, just because it is what it is, and you are who you are, and you moving in what God purposed you to move in. It's going to be some stuff. Just try to minimize that by keeping your mouth closed. But even when you do, when you have erred or just, just being naturally and it was okay for you to speak on some things, and they still try to come against it, compete, beat you to the punch, or whatever, stop it. Stop your dream. When they try to stop your dream or stop you from moving on your path, on your journey, in your purpose, when they try to throw you off your square, when they try to attack you, and I say try because it's a joke to me, even still, it won't work. It still won't work. As long as you stay the course, just like Joseph did. He knew what God told him and showed him. He believed it and didn't care what had happened, what he went through, where he ended up at. He stayed the course, and guess what happened? God stayed with him. God stayed with him. And what happened? What happened? I'm going to leave y'all to answer that. But we know what happened. So my point is, even then, it still won't work. I'm going to leave you all with that. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to my channel by clicking on that red subscribe button right down there, right down there. And right next to that red subscribe button, there is a bell that you can click on so that you can get notified every time I upload a new video, like this one. You all, again, thank you all so much for being here with me, for sharing my videos, for viewing my videos, should I say, and sharing them. I love you all so very much. And yeah, much love, light, and peace. And many blessings to you all. Y'all, that's my time. Jesus girl, she is out. Peace.